Okay, this final video for this assignment is how to do this final rhetorical analysis table, which is part 2 of the summative, and this is the other portion of the point value. The assignment for annotations is worth 5 points, and then the analysis table is worth 15. So this is basically like planning like an outline for a paper or something, or if you're going to like create a video analysis. But this is just basically taking your annotations and bringing them to the next level of analysis. So the best way to do this is to take a picture of your annotations and copy and paste them here so that you have them to refer to, so you don't have to go back and forth between the two documents. Then you have to look at the context, the background that you've chosen. So you can look back at the assignment itself. For context, you can copy and paste that here. You can add to it based on what you've learned from your passage. You can just write it from scratch based on what you've learned from your annotations. However you want to get the context to it, you should give the who, what, when, where, why, like what's going on in the passage, what's going on before it, what situation is this in the story. Then you are to write a thesis. And you can follow this example of, in this passage, Frederick Douglass highlights, and then you would explain what it is that he's highlighting and what is he trying to convince. So you could use these phrases to start and then fill in your blanks, and then use to convince what. What are you trying to convince the audience of? So you might say, in this passage, Frederick Douglass highlights the change in heart of the mistress to convince the audience of how slavery can poison even the most kindest of hearts. Okay, so whatever it is in your passage that Frederick Douglass is trying to say and how he's trying to do that, that would be what you're writing in your thesis, and you would put that example here. Then in this analysis table, you're going to explain each rhetorical strategy you have found. You have at least 5. So look up here and choose your 5 best ones that you think you can explain the best. And you would put, copy and paste the quote here. You don't want a really long one, so probably no more than a sentence. You can get a little more than 5 words if you need to, especially if it's like repetition. Then you would state what rhetorical strategy it is, like anaphora, metaphor, simile. What does it appeal to, ethos, pathos, or logos? And then what is the effect of this rhetorical strategy? Like, how does it fit into his purpose? So you're really going to explain like what you wrote about in your annotations. So maybe it's the metaphor, and so you'd be explaining how the metaphor is a comparison of the poison, comparing it to slavery, and how slavery, when it gets in someone's heart, it's like a fatal poison and it can destroy you, and how that demonstrates the evils of slavery and how it can infiltrate even people that are kind, and it can just spread quickly because of the evil that is involved in it. And so that would be, you just go right across. You choose 5 of the ones that are up here in your annotations, and you thoroughly explain them. And it's also really good to utilize like a quote the quote process here, like using 1 or 2 quotes like you've done before in a passage analysis. So consider this just like an outline to if you're going to write a passage analysis, but it's just with more spread out into a chart. So there is an example of how to do this on Schoology, so you can look at that. And the Big Bank of Rhetorical Strategies is linked here and on the other assignment. And you also, again, have an example of a thesis here. Your context is on the original document, but you can also use context on the internet or just looking up the text itself. So there should be plenty of resources for you to help. And when you're finished with this, you are to submit it, and this is 15 summative points. Good luck. Thank you.